turning 40 has made me realize how important it is to truly just move your body, take care of your energy, have fun, enjoy the moments, and honestly, take care of yourself financially. If I didn't stop and pause and really just work on being present, doing things outside of my comfort zone, like working out or, initiating plans, being the social one, I don't think I would have been able to overcome a lot of the ruts that I was in, or the holes that I was digging for myself, especially especially when it related to my relationship with money. I was the type, and this was just 6 months ago, 7 months ago, where being self-employed, you don't have a guaranteed check. And when you have a 9 to 5, your check is guaranteed, but there's still that, what if I get laid off, fired, or whatever the case may be, right? But when you're self-employed, every move you make impacts if and when you will get paid. And even then, it's not guaranteed. I work in a field that I get paid when deals close. I work in real estate. So I've gotten used to that. But there was a point in my life where that was all I was doing. And then I realized this work is no longer serving me. I don't feel happy doing it. I don't feel like the impact I can have on the world is possible by just focusing on this. So I decided to pivot a bit and redirect my career. And a result of that, I took big hits financially. When I first started being self-employed, when I first became self-employed almost 7 years ago, I had made almost triple in a month what I had made at my 9 to 5. No, quadruple, actually. And just to give you guys some context, I was making around, when I left, at most, I think the most I ever made at a job was like $75,000. But that was just in the last, I don't even know if it was 75, to be honest. It might have been closer to 65. But becoming self-employed opened up my eyes to a whole new world, like Aladdin. And it made me realize how much more I'm capable of doing on my own. But in the beginning, I inherited a great deal of business, which was it was a result of my own actions, taking job interviews, not really knowing what my next steps were, and then just aligning with the right people. And then when I was ready, everything just fell into place. And I was very fortunate in that sense that when it was my time to do just the transaction coordination work, God blessed me in a way that I look back at it, I'm just like, how amazing and such a blessing that time was for me financially, because I was going through so much emotionally. I didn't really have like a spiritual or relationship with God. I was reading devotionals. I was reading my devotionals right here, but I wasn't really like taking it serious or applying it. I just felt like it was just another check off the box, another box checked in my to-do list. It wasn't anything that I was studying or getting to know. So in that time, I had also lost my grandma, and she was one of the main reasons why I quit my job in the first place. It wasn't to just start this business or be self-employed. I had no dreams of doing any of that, and I've talked about that many times. But if you're new here, I quit my job in 2018 to take care of family members that were going through a lot of just things in that time period. And like I said, the work I had done previously just to kind of plant seeds for myself unintentionally and intentionally truly worked in my favor. And one of those aspects was aligning myself with a broker here in San Francisco who remembered me, and just, me just being myself and leaving a good impression, but also taking time the year before I quit my job, before I knew what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to get out of that company. when I thought about my future and what I was going to do, the only thing in my mind that was clear was that I was going to quit my job. I didn't know I was going to be self-employed. I didn't know I was going to continue to be a transaction coordinator. I didn't know it was going to last this long. I didn't know I was going to pursue YouTube on a full-time basis. I just knew I had to get out of that job, and everything else was just in the air, you know? And now looking back today at 40, I'm like, it was God's plan. So having all of that in alignment on top of having a savings account was so crucial to making that transition seamless almost. But I also look back and I didn't really appreciate it for what it was. I just looked at it as, this is guaranteed, like it's easy, you know, easy money. And I never really leveled up when it came to my education and my knowledge in terms of financial literacy, or even my spiritual health, which it would impact my mental health. And then studying about my mental health, which it would impact my physical health. You know, I was the heaviest I had ever been. I stopped drinking for a year, but then I picked it back up the following year and put on a lot of weight. I wasn't active physically. I wasn't really being attentive to my own needs or my own wants. And I was just going through the motions, just surviving. I was in survival mode for so many years. I had to take a deep breath. I was talking really fast. But I've spent the last year and a half making the least money I've ever made in my life. And somehow, some way, it's still working out. And I know that's all God. So I can't sit here and act like I don't know. I know it's God. What I don't know is just when or how it's going to happen. I just know I have to do my part and do the work. Even recording this video, you know, I want to be more, I am pursuing YouTube as a career. And what I was doing in the past, once a week, you know, when I felt like it, wasn't working. But now me showing up on a daily basis at random times, you know, hair a mess, you know, wearing the same thing in most videos because it's just the easiest thing to wear. It's a little bit more vulnerable. It's a lot more challenging. And these are things that I never really put myself in, like situations I didn't really put myself in because I'd been through so much already. I was just like, I just want a comfortable life. I just want to be, you know, I just want to make enough. And once I got that, I realized ultimately everything is about surrender. But I was living in such an anxious state to the point where I almost sabotaged my whole career because I was trying to only live in this state of comfort when in actuality I was always anxious because I was always anxious about money. I was always anxious about posting. I was always anxious about how many likes, how many views. Whereas like now I heard someone say on, it was this interview with one of my favorite content creators who's an actor now. And he said that when he was working on the set for one of the shows that 50 Cent does, he showed him his content, and he does family content on social media. And this is before they blew up, before they went viral and became now a household name. And he, you know, 50 Cent told him, this is great, keep it up. Do not worry about the likes or the views. Just keep posting because all it's going to take is that one to take off. And when people see that you have a catalog of work, they're going to see, oh, you do this. And that builds that trust factor, that familiarity versus you're just a one-hit wonder. You know, it's like when I find a new artist who may not be new, but they're new to me, and I hear a song and then I hear another song of theirs and I want to go back to their original music. You know, it's like if I find oldies or something like that, or a new R&B artist, I want to watch their interviews. I want to watch documentaries about them, read books, whatever is available, right? So I think I need to just take that approach with my content as well as just any work I do in this world. Is I worry so much that everything needs to work out the first time it gets released, or the first steps I take, versus being okay with the fall, being okay with the stillness, being okay with the times when it's not hitting, and or no one's watching or no one's commenting, and that being a part of the process, and not being so anxious, because nothing is guaranteed. But it's more so, what is the work that I'm willing to put in day, midday, night, you know what I mean, after hours, in order for this to work in my favor. And if I say I'm going to do something, I got to do the thing to get to the thing. And me not producing as much content as I'm capable of, or starting new channels, trying to get away from, oh, this doesn't work, so let me go to the next thing. Let me start all over. I do this to myself. I self-sabotage. So I'm sorry, I keep kicking this chair. It's annoying me. And I continue to self-sabotage. So I'm in a place now where I'm like, okay, let me stop posting on those other channels that I made. I did make a commitment to post every day in November. But after that, I think I'm just going to focus on my one personal account, my podcast, and my other business YouTube channel. Like, just stick to my roots and believe and know that it's all going to work out, and if the other channels should be a thing, I'm going to listen to God and follow his instructions. But other than that, this is what I'm getting. And, oh, excuse me, sorry. And I'm going to stick with that. But I will be posting a lot more consistently. And consistency to me just is showing up. It's okay to have a plan as well. Everything doesn't have to be so last minute, or, for the sake of just checking a box. But just show up. And the more authentic you can be, I feel like the better it resonates with people. And I don't know, we'll see. I just was speaking from the heart in this video. I asked God right before I turned on the camera. I was like, God, talk to me. What am I supposed to talk about? So if this resonates with you and you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I am so grateful to have gotten to this place where I'm at, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Putting yourself first really is important, because that impacts everyone and everything around you. And it's not selfish. It's not. So I'll keep talking about these things in the future, but that's what I had on my heart. And I'm going to cut it here and enjoy the rest of your day. It's your girl Lils. I don't ever introduce myself, but it's your girl Lils. And this is Fire Life. So, fearless individuality yields abundant healing, and life is a blessing. Have fun.